Have you ever noticed how some people manage to establish deep connections just by uttering a few words? It's not about what they say, but how they say it. And today, I'm going to reveal exactly how you can do the same. I'll show you 9 phrases that instantly awaken intimate imagination based on the principles of Strauss, one of the greatest experts in interpersonal communication of our time. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you wanted to connect with someone on a deeper level, but the words just wouldn't flow? How many opportunities have you missed because you didn't know what to say or how to say it? All that changes today. Communication that truly seduces isn't about memorized lines or cheap tricks. It's about understanding human psychology and how the right words can create powerful mental images. As Strauss says, words are the bridge between your reality and another person's. When you learn to build that bridge correctly, connection becomes inevitable. Before I reveal these phrases to you, I need you to understand something fundamental. Language that awakens intimate imagination operates at a different level than normal conversation. It's not about what you literally say, but about the emotions and sensations you evoke. It's as if your words are keys that open doors in the other person's mind. The first idea you need to understand is that intimate imagination is activated when you create a sense of exclusive complicity. When you make someone feel that you share something unique, something that only the two of you understand, you establish a connection that goes beyond the ordinary. When I look at you, I feel there's a conversation happening beyond the words we're saying right now. This phrase is powerful because it suggests a hidden dimension in your interaction. It creates a shared mental space, a tacit secret between the two of you. You're not saying anything explicitly intimate, but you're planting the seed of a deeper connection. Strauss points out that the best seduction happens when the other person believes the idea was theirs. This phrase does exactly that. It invites the other person to imagine that something special exists between you, but lets their mind fill in the details. Think about the last time you felt an instant connection with someone. There was probably a moment when you both felt something invisible, yet powerful was happening. This phrase deliberately recreates that sensation. A practical exercise. The next time you're talking with someone you're interested in, maintain eye contact for a second longer than usual, and then say this phrase with a slight smile. Notice how it immediately changes the dynamics of the conversation. And this leads us directly to the second big idea, creating a hypothetical shared future. I wonder what it would be like to spend an entire day together. No interruptions, no phones, just the two of us discovering places no one else knows about. What makes this phrase so effective is that it transports the other person to a future scenario where intimacy already exists between you. You're not proposing anything concrete, you're just inviting them on a mental journey. As Strauss explains, the mind doesn't easily distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you suggest this scenario, the other person begins to visualize it. And in that visualization process, they begin to feel emotions associated with that imagined experience. It's like planting a memory of the future. Has it ever happened to you that when vividly imagining something, you started feeling real emotions? That's exactly how this technique works. You're not forcing anything, you're simply opening a door to imagination. Do this exercise right now. Close your eyes for 3 seconds and imagine what that perfect day would be like with someone you're attracted to. Do you feel how your emotional state changes just by imagining it? Now you understand why this phrase has so much power. If you're enjoying this content and already imagining how to apply these ideas, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more persuasive communication strategies that will forever change your social life. The third crucial idea is invoking physical sensations through language. Strauss has extensively studied how words can create almost tactile sensations, a phenomenon known as linguistic synesthesia. When you talk like that, with that voice, I can feel every word as if you were drawing invisible patterns on my skin. This phrase is direct but elegant. It establishes a connection between the other person's voice and a pleasant physical sensation you experience. The brilliant thing here is that you're communicating attraction without explicitly saying it, and you're inviting the other person to be aware of the effect they have on you. As Strauss says, people don't fall in love with you, They fall in love with how you make them feel. This phrase reflects that principle. You're sharing how the other person makes you feel, creating a positive feedback loop. Think about the last time someone told you that your voice, your laugh, or your way of speaking caused a special impression on them. Didn't you immediately feel a stronger connection with that person? This happens because you've gone from being someone neutral to someone who evokes pleasant sensations. Here's a practical exercise. Genuinely identify something unique in the other person's way of expressing themselves. It could be the rhythm of their speech, the cadence of their laugh, or the way they emphasize certain words. Mention how that creates a pleasant physical sensation in you. Authenticity is key here. Moving on to the fourth idea, we arrive at a truly transformative concept: the use of strategic vulnerability to create instant intimacy. I normally don't share this with anyone, but there's something about you that makes me feel I can lower my defenses and show you who I really am. What makes this phrase so magnetic is that it combines exclusivity with vulnerability. You're communicating that the other person is special because something that rarely happens can occur with them. Authentic, emotional openness. Strauss reminds us that true seduction isn't about techniques, but about having the courage to be vulnerable. This phrase perfectly encapsulates that philosophy. You're not manipulating, you're inviting a genuine connection. Have you noticed how people feel irresistibly attracted to those who seem strong but are capable of showing selective vulnerability? There's a fascinating paradox here. Showing vulnerability from a position of strength creates more attraction than trying to appear perfect or invulnerable. I propose this exercise. Identify something personal but not too intimate that you wouldn't normally share in a first conversation. When you feel there's chemistry with someone, use this phrase as a preamble to sharing that detail. Observe how it instantly deepens the connection. The fifth idea is perhaps the most powerful of all: creating a shared alternative reality, a world that exists only between the two of you. Sometimes when you connect with someone like this, it's as if the rest of the world disappears and a bubble is created where only you and I exist, with our own rules. Can you feel it? This phrase is extraordinary because it does three things simultaneously. It describes an experience that's happening in real time, suggests that this experience is special and uncommon, and ends with a question that invites the other person to confirm this shared reality. As Strauss says, the most effective seduction occurs when you create a world the other person wants to belong to. You're literally building that world with your words. Remember a time when you were so absorbed in a conversation that you lost track of time and space. That sensation of being in a bubble is exactly what you're evoking with this phrase, and by asking, "Can you feel it?" you're inviting the other person to recognize and validate this shared experience. A powerful exercise. The next time you're in a naturally flowing conversation, pause, maintain eye contact, and say this phrase in a slightly lower tone than your usual voice. You'll be framing the experience they're already having, giving it a deeper meaning. If these ideas are resonating with you so far, and you see their potential to transform your interactions, take a moment to activate the notification bell. We publish content like this weekly, and you won't want to miss the next persuasive communication strategies. Now, let's delve into the sixth idea: using multiple sensory language to create immersive experiences. Imagine we're on a deserted beach at sunset. The warm breeze caresses your skin, the sound of waves surrounds you, and as the sun disappears over the horizon, our eyes meet and time simply stops. What makes this phrase so captivating is that it activates multiple sensory channels: visual, the beach at sunset; tactile, the warm breeze; auditory, the sound of waves; and kinesthetic, time stopping. Strauss emphasizes that the more senses you involve in your communication, the more immersive and real the experience becomes for the other person. This technique works because the brain processes sensory information similarly, whether it comes from real experiences or vividly imagined ones. By creating this multi-sensory scene, you're essentially programming a shared experience in the other person's mind. Remember the last time a book or movie completely transported you to another world? You felt real emotions for fictional situations. This phrase operates under the same principle, but with the added advantage that you are an integral part of that imagined experience. Here's an exercise. Create your own sensory narrative based on a scenario you find personally attractive. It should include at least 3 different sensory modalities and culminate in a moment of connection between you two. Practice it until it flows naturally in your conversation. The 7th idea takes us into fascinating territory, using linguistic presuppositions to create assumed realities. It's interesting how from the moment our eyes first met, we both knew this conversation would be different from the others, as if a part of us recognized something familiar in the other. The power of this phrase lies in its presuppositions. It assumes as truth that you both experienced a special connection from the first moment. You're not asking if it happened, you're stating that it happened and simply commenting on this shared fact. Neil Strauss explains that presuppositions are the most elegant form of influence because they completely bypass the mind's critical defenses. The person doesn't analyze whether the statement is true or false. They unconsciously accept the presupposition and respond to the comment about it. Think about how you would feel if someone said this to you. Your mind would automatically look for evidence confirming this special connection, and in looking for it, you would most likely find it, because our minds are experts at finding patterns that confirm what we already believe. I propose this exercise. Identify something positive that could be true about your interaction with the other person, something that would be difficult to deny. Formulate it as an assumed fact you're reflecting on, not as a question or a statement requiring validation. And we come to the 8th idea, using temporal progression to create accelerated intimacy. I like how we're getting to know each other now, and I'm intrigued to think about what our conversation will be like after we've shared more experiences together, when we can already communicate without needing words. This phrase is powerful because it creates a mental timeline that starts from the present, getting to know each other, and projects toward a future where deep intimacy exists between you. You're not suggesting this will necessarily happen, just expressing curiosity about that possibility. As Strauss points out, the human mind naturally follows a temporal sequence. If you establish point A, the present, and point C, an intimate future, the mind will automatically create point B, the process of getting there. You're essentially programming a path of relational development in the other person's imagination. Have you noticed how some people seem to accelerate emotional intimacy, making you feel like you've known them much longer than you actually have? This technique is part of that art, an effective exercise. Think of 3 levels of relational intimacy, from where you are now to a point of deep connection. Create a phrase that mentions the current point, expresses curiosity about the end point, and lets the other person's mind fill in the intermediate process. Finally, we come to the 9th and perhaps most subtle of all ideas, using strategic silence to amplify emotional tension. Sometimes when there's this kind of chemistry between 2 people, deliberate pause while maintaining eye contact, words become almost unnecessary. What's revolutionary about this phrase is that it incorporates silence as an active element of communication. The pause isn't empty, it's loaded with meaning. It's during that space of silence when the other person's imagination works most intensely. Strauss insists that silence is the space where true seduction happens. When you leave a phrase hanging and create intentional silence, the other person fills that space with their own expectations, desires, and meanings. Reflect. Aren't the moments of shared silence with someone you have chemistry with some of the most intense and memorable? That silence charged with possibilities says more than 1,000 words. This exercise requires courage. The next time you feel an authentic connection with someone, dare to leave a meaningful phrase hanging. Maintain eye contact during the silence and observe how the energy between you intensifies. Don't break the silence too quickly. Allow it to work its magic. Now that you know these 9 phrases that awaken intimate imagination, it's important that you understand the fundamental truth. None of these techniques will work if they don't come with authenticity. As Neil Strauss reminds us, techniques are just the vehicle. Your true essence is the fuel. These phrases aren't rigid scripts to memorize, But templates you should adapt to your unique personality and the specific dynamics of each interaction. What makes these phrases powerful isn't their linguistic structure, but the genuine intention behind them. True mastery in intimate communication isn't about manipulating, but about creating spaces where both people feel safe to explore deeper connections. When you use these phrases from a place of authentic curiosity and respect, you create opportunities for genuine intimacy that can completely transform your relationships. The question now is, are you ready to implement these principles and transform the way you connect with others? Are you willing to be brave, authentic, and strategic in your communication? If this content has resonated with you and you're committed to elevating your interpersonal communication skills, write in the comments, "I choose authentic connection." I want to know how many of you are ready for this transformative journey. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with someone you think could benefit from these strategies. Remember, words have power, but you decide how to use them. See you in the next video.